Hello, I'm Yogi Stillness, and thank you for joining us. I'll be your guide in today's meditation. Today we'll be exploring the value of clearing our minds when we become overwhelmed, so that we can make space to process our thoughts. We'll begin by sitting on the floor, a cushion, or in a chair. Let's take a few movements to release a little tension. Stick out your left hand and make a few circles to loosen up your wrists. Then gently shake your hand like you're getting loose sand off. Repeat with your right hand, little circles, then shake it out. Then bounce your left knee a few times, and now your right. Finish your last bounces and sit up tall. Now settle into your seat and relax any tightness in your neck, shoulders, and chest. Tune into your breath. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to close. Let's take 3 deep breaths together now. Start by taking a long, slow inhale, then hold it. Then take a full exhale. And follow that with an even deeper inhale, holding your breath, and another full exhale. One last deep inhale and hold, and one last big exhale, letting go of all your breath. Allow your breath to grow steadily while encouraging full exhales with minimal effort. Every time you inhale, think about all the things coming in: breath, thoughts, sensations, sounds. Every time you exhale, imagine all of the thoughts and sensations that entered your awareness flowing out with your breath. Inhale and notice the influx of activity in your mind and body. Then release all that activity with your exhale. Repeat this process, being mindful of the inflow of thoughts and sensations and intentionally releasing them as much as possible on every exhale. Keep breathing out as much mental activity as possible for a few moments in silence. Whether your mind is still on empty or if your mind has been wandering, bring your awareness back to the breath. Keeping the mind empty can be very challenging. So instead of stopping your thoughts completely, focus on the breath, visualizing the exhale, releasing thoughts and sensations. The more you occupy the mind with simple awareness, like watching the breath, the less room there is for more complex and distracting thoughts to barge in. Keep breathing out any distracting thoughts with each exhale, returning to this image wherever the mind wanders. Continue observing the breath like this silently for a few minutes. Return your focus to the balance of the inhale and exhale. We can think of this form of visualization meditation like wringing out a sponge. Our incredible minds can be compared to a simple object like a sponge because they are both highly absorbent. But at a certain point, either one can become so overwhelmingly full that it loses their ability to take in anything new. When we are in school or training for a new job, we are often inundated with immense amounts of new information. So much so that we can barely keep up. When we cram for tests or interview, we try to put as much information into our heads as possible in a short time, even though our brains learn better by increments, not all at once. Our brains can only take in so much at once, and like a sponge, they need to be occasionally emptied out to stay useful. Through our mindfulness practice, we may realize that our thoughts rarely stop completely. But with practice, we can learn to slow our thoughts down. We can become overwhelmed with information, visual, tactile, or even emotional information. Our brains can shut down and things start bouncing off instead of being absorbed. Often we just need to empty our minds for a few moments to process. In the heat of a moment, we may only be able to take in a breath before we have to jump back into the fray. But even that small space can make a difference. In the long run, we can benefit from wringing out our thoughts in a daily mindfulness practice, simply closing our eyes and focusing on our breath for a few minutes every day. It can be enough to help us refresh our minds and increase our powers of perception and comprehension. Recognizing how our brain shut down when we are overwhelmed also helps us be more sympathetic for those around us who stumble over their words and have difficulty understanding us. People around us can seem rude or inattentive because they're overwhelmed by too many voices, too much information, or just an abundance of emotions. When we are overwhelmed, our minds shut down and mindful behavior becomes impossible because being mindful requires being attentive. When we are not being mindful of those around us, chances are that our minds have been oversaturated until nothing is getting in. It is at these times that wringing out our thoughts can be a potent reset button to bring us back to fresh listeners, communicators, and show up as our best selves. Come back into your body now. Take one last big breath in. Hold it. And let it out with a cleansing sigh. eyes to open. Thank you for showing up for yourself in this practice today. We are so grateful for the opportunity to support you in self-care and look forward to meeting here again tomorrow.